What is up, Ivy Leaguers? It is Super Bowl Sunday. Finally, finally, we get to talk about the Super Bowl. It was a crazy conference championship round, division championship round, and it was really fun to see the Eagles they kind of rolled over the Washington Commanders. It wasn't really a contest in that one. So the Eagles dominated the Commanders in that one. But then on the AFC side, it was a much closer game. A game that kind of went, a lot of people did not want the Chiefs to beat the Bills, but I was personally rooting for the Bills, but I kind of had a feeling the Chiefs would win. But the Chiefs definitely played well, and they won. They ended up winning the game. It was a close one. It came down to the wire, but the Chiefs ended up pulling away in the very end. So let's talk about this matchup. So the Super Bowl tonight, I should say, we have the Eagles versus the Chiefs. A rematch of the Super Bowl 2 years ago, I believe. Yes, 2 years ago. And it's going to be a fun one. The Eagles coming in are looking hot. Like I said, they dominated the Commanders in their game. And the Chiefs coming in, look, they got a chance to do something that's never happened in the NFL before. They have a chance to three-peat, winning 3 Super Bowls in a row. And personally, I have to root for the Eagles because my Uncle Pete, shout out Uncle Pete, would probably kill me if I did not root for the Eagles. He's a huge Eagles fan. But I also personally am rooting for the Eagles, not just because of Uncle Pete, because I think the Eagles, in my opinion, they have a lot of Alabama players. That's always a kicker for me. 2, I don't want the Chiefs to three-peat. I really don't. I'm sorry. And this is going to sound really bad of me on YouTube, but I don't want them to. I want someone new to win. Plus, I kind of have to root for the Eagles for Uncle Pete. But I think that this game could go either way, really. It's a pick'em game when it comes down to the betting-wise. The Chiefs look very sharp. I think that Patrick Mahomes is obviously playoff Patrick Mahomes is different. He didn't play great in the regular season this year. I had him on my fantasy team, and he just didn't play good for me. But that's okay. That's okay. I did not finish first in my fantasy football. I'll be honest. But playoff Patrick Mahomes is different. He's just something clicks in his brain, and he decides to turn into Superman. And I like to share this insight with everyone because if y'all remember, when Tom Brady was dominating the NFL, much like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have been recently, everybody hated Tom Brady. Nobody liked him. I mean, except Patriots fans, of course. And everyone hated the Patriots. No matter who they were playing, they were always rooting against the Patriots. But now, and I remember, they would start, probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the Chiefs started kind of emerging as this powerhouse, and all of a sudden, you see a younger Patrick Mahomes playing a Tom Brady in the playoffs, and everyone was rooting for Patrick Mahomes. Everyone thought Patrick Mahomes was the savior. The tables have kind of turned now. Now, Patrick Mahomes is considered the villain, So I like to bring that into perspective, and now most football fans, almost all football fans, view Tom Brady as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, football player of all time. And there's so much respect for Brady now. And I think in 10 years, when Patrick Mahomes, maybe he's still in the league. I kind of doubt he'll be in the league in 10 years. But if Patrick Mahomes continues this magical run, we'll look back and be like, gosh, Patrick Mahomes was so good, and we all hated on him. So I just like to throw that out there before I say what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to say is I don't want the Chiefs to win. Same way I didn't want Brady to win against the Eagles back in, 2017, I think? back when Nick Foles led the Eagles to a Super Bowl. I think that's when it was. Y'all can fact check me, but 2017 I think was when the Eagles beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles to win tonight. And I'm going to tell you why here in a second. But so let's just dive into the matchup analysis first. First off, so Eagles defense has kind of played this whole season has been a wrecking crew of a defense. They've got studs all up on that defensive line, that defensive front seven. Their secondary has really played awesome, especially in the closing half of the year. They're led by a bunch of young guys. You got Jalen Carter on the defensive line. You got Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean in the secondary. And those aren't necessarily the leaders of their defense, but they're of definitely some of the key role players in that defense. And I really do think that this defense is going to give the Chiefs' offensive line a hard time because Patrick Mahomes will need to be protected. If he's not protected, it could get ugly for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But let's flip it to the offensive side for the Eagles. I think their offense is not what modern day offense is used to, because you look at modern day NFL offense, it's typically all passing. I mean, yes, they mix in the running back a lot, but it's a very air raid heavy game, as Mike Leach would call it, the air raid offense. He invented that in college football. But the Eagles are a little different because they've got Jalen Hurts at quarterback, Saquon Barkley at running back. Both of those guys can run like the wind blows, and both of those guys are strong. So you see a lot more inside runs, QB zone options. You'll see a power counter read from Jalen Hurts. You'll see direct quarterback runs from Jalen Hurts. You'll see all this stuff. But then again, they also have, in my opinion, two of the best wide receivers in the NFL. You've got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So they can spread the ball out however they want. They can run it up the middle. They can run it outside. They can throw the ball. They can do whatever they want when they are clicking. And that kind of starts with the offensive line. They've the past couple of years have had an incredible offensive line. Obviously, Jason Kelce retiring hurt their offensive line, but still, I still think they have the best, if not the second best, offensive line in the NFL. So that's going to be tough for the Kansas City Chiefs to defend tonight. In my opinion, if the Chiefs do not find a way to break through that offensive line with whoever it is, Chris Jones, whoever it is on the Chiefs, if they don't find a way to break through and put pressure on Hurts and stop the run a little, then I don't think that they will win this ball game. Because I think Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts is too good of a duo, a backfield duo, to let them run free. Because what some teams have done in the past is they'll let them run the ball, and I just don't think that's going to work against these Philadelphia Eagles. If you let the Eagles run the ball at all, if you let them get through, even if they only average 5 yards a carry, then you're in a lot of trouble because they're going to do that every play. And when they get to 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, it's tush-push time. They're going to call that tush-push up and push Jalen Hurts across the first down yardage. So in my opinion, for the Chiefs, that is number one thing tonight. You have got to stop the run. That's all that matters. That's not all that matters, but that is priority number one. Stop the run game. Limit Saquon Barkley. If they can do that, I think the Chiefs will have a much better chance in this game than people are giving them credit for. Now let's look at the Chiefs' offense. Obviously, you have Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL right now, arguably. I'm going to say arguably because, of course, if I say he's the best quarterback in the NFL, I'm going to get into all these debates about Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and anybody else. So, he is arguably the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And he's got playmakers all over the field. I mean, he's got Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield, Travis Kelce at tight end, Xavier Worthy, just to name three, but he's got more guys all over the field that can get yards and get upfield. So it'll be interesting to see how they disperse the ball. Andy Reid, the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, is an offensive mastermind, in my opinion, and he really knows his stuff. And obviously, they've won 2 straight Super Bowls. Now, of course, whenever we talk about the Chiefs, everyone's going to be like, well, the refs favor them. The refs favor these guys. The refs give them calls. I understand that. I understand why people think that. We thought the same way about Brady. But look, they're not actually... Well, I'm not going to say they're not actually giving them calls, because then as soon as I say that, we're going to get an ESPN notification about some inside story about how the Chiefs actually did pay the refs. But no, I really don't think they have. I think that's a far-fetched fantasy for fans that are angry that they got knocked out of the playoffs. I think the Chiefs are just good at winning. They know how to win. Even if they're not playing great, they still know what they have to do to beat teams. In the fourth quarter, they're not worried if they're losing, because they know that they can come back and win. That is why I think the Chiefs are so good, have been so good these past 5 years, because they know what they have to do to win in the fourth quarter. Doesn't matter what happened before that, they know they can win in the fourth quarter. So that and to me is what makes the Chiefs so much better than all these teams in the NFL. But then they have to execute it. And we've seen them execute it before. They haven't not executed it. I mean, you look at, they won their first 5 games by 1 score, I think. Maybe not 1 score, but they were all close games. So I think we have to look at them and think they know how to win in the fourth quarter. And in my opinion, if you're the Eagles cannot get in the mindset of, we're up 2 scores, we've got the game won. Because if you do that against the Chiefs, I think you're going to lose. Because if the Eagles, say hypothetically, the score is 35-24 with 10 minutes left in the ball game tonight. Say the Eagles are up 35-24 with 10 minutes left. The game's not over, because there's a guy standing on that Chiefs sideline named Patrick Mahomes that has done this millions of times. Not millions, but probably hundreds of times, at least dozens of times. And he is always a threat. It doesn't matter if there's 3 minutes left or 10 minutes left. He's a threat. So if you're the Eagles, play the whole 60 minutes. Do not let up. Keep your foot on the gas and do not let up the whole 60 minutes. That is how you beat the Chiefs. That's the only way you beat the Chiefs, because if you let up, they're going to score and they're going to win. That's you've seen it the past 5 years. And I keep saying the past 5 years because that's kind of give or take how long the Chiefs have been winning like this. You have got to keep the pressure on them. Whether that's on defense, bringing blitzes and keeping Patrick Mahomes, uncomfortable in the pocket, or if that's on offense, just pounding the run and not letting them stop you. So I think that is how the Eagles have to win today. They have got to keep the pressure on. If not, I think the Chiefs win this ball game. So I'm going to give you my score prediction here. And it's tough because the Eagles, we've seen them score, same with both these teams, can really score a lot of points. We've seen it in all their games. But then again, the Eagles' defense has looked really good, so has the Chiefs. So, I think I'm trying to craft a score. I think the Eagles win. And that's who I'm going to pick. 1, because of Uncle Pete. Shout out Uncle Pete again. And 2, I think that they're going to be more physical. And I think physicality is going to play a huge factor in this football game. But I'm going to say, let's go 42 for the Eagles. Let's do 42-35 Eagles. I think that's the final score in this ball game. Maybe I think that's the final score. Then again, I'm just predicting here. I'm sitting here. I can say what I can say. It might be spot on. It might be very wrong because do we know what's going to happen? No. No, we don't. So I'm saying my final score is Eagles 42, Chiefs 35. Ball game. Eagles are your Super Bowl champs. Then again, I could be very wrong, but I think that the Eagles are going to be more physical, and I think that's going to be the X factor today. It's going to be who's more physical. If the Chiefs can stop the Eagles' run, and if the Eagles can keep the pressure on. Those are the three X factors. Physicality, can the Chiefs hold the run, and can the Eagles keep the pressure on the Chiefs? If the Eagles keep the pressure on and are able to run the ball and are more physical, they're going to win that ball game. If not, then it's going to be tough for them to beat the Chiefs. So it's going to be a fun one tonight, all right? The Super Bowl's in New Orleans. New Orleans is one of the craziest, best, awesome, most crazy cities in America. I love New Orleans, by the way. It's a really cool place. I went to the Sugar Bowl there when Alabama played Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl a couple years ago, and it was a blast, I'm telling you. It truly, it's an awesome place. If y'all ever get a chance to go to a game there, I highly recommend it. It's got some of the best stadium food in the country. I mean, I was sitting at the Sugar Bowl, and all of a sudden I said, let's go get some jambalaya from the concession stand, and I ate that whole thing. I was like, we might have to go back for some more jambalaya. So the jambalaya is going to be flowing tonight in New Orleans, among other things, I'm sure. This is it for today. Obviously, I'll give a recap episode of the Super Bowl, and we'll move on to basketball. We got March Madness should be coming up here soon, because we're already in February. But you know what? We're getting closer and closer to college football coming back, because y'all know me. Y'all know that's my favorite sport. You know, I talk about it way too much probably, but that's why you listen. Until next time, this is Ivy Taylor signing off, and one more thing. Fly, Eagles, fly. Alright, until next time, this is Ivy Taylor signing off. Thanks for watching.